let's move on and let's go to our player rating, starting off with Vicario. 6s all round for Big Vic. The good, the bad, the ugly from Vicario yesterday. Some moments of absolute madness, some moments of brilliance. I felt like he made a really top save from Sade. I felt like his playing out the back really helped us progress the ball up the pitch with his little dinks out wide and through the centre of the park. But it was his moments of madness which people are going to remember this game. Obviously, he gets... I think it was... Past that, Van de Ven maybe put him into trouble a bit with 2 Brentford players bearing down on him, but at that point you just got to get rid of the ball, and he holds on to the ball for way too long and nearly costs us a goal. And there was that moment where he handballs it very clearly twice outside of the box, where I just thought it was like... everyone's looking at like, what the hell are you doing? And not only does it once, and he does another flick to do it again. So I thought it was just absolute madness. But he gets a 6 because he does some very good things in the game as well.
Yeah, and things at a high standard. I thought set pieces, he was a lot stronger, coming for crosses, and actually did really well on those aspects. Obviously made 2 really good saves, one from Sade, one from Mbeumo as well, and obviously made the save which he made up for the mistake he made from Mbeumo as well. So some really top saves that made sure that we didn't concede in moments where we were on top, and it would have been really annoying to concede against a runner play in some of those situations. But obviously those 2 moments of madness where he dawdled on the ball and then handled it outside the box, and absolutely got away on both occasions. So he's lucky that that he got away with those, because though both those things cost us, you know, I don't think we're sitting here giving him a 6, so he's a bit lucky. But obviously there was some really good stuff there from him, so hopefully he can focus on those improvements.
Yeah, Pedro Porro up next. Tim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I thought Pedro was good for the most part. But he's got to be getting way closer to Lewis Potter-Keane in the first minute of the game. I felt like he wasn't ready for the game to start. I mean, he just gives him acres of space, lets him shift back and put a really good cross in. Look, don't take anything away from the cross, because it was brilliant to a free man in the box in Brian Mbeumo. But I felt like Porro has definitely got to be engaging a lot closer and not giving him that time and that space to get the ball into the box. And at any point in the game, to be fair. But look, I think apart from that, I don't have any problems with his performance, but I felt like he wasn't maybe impacting the attacking phases of the game like he usually does.
Yeah, to be fair to him in that situation, obviously Brentford were playing like a 3-4-3 yesterday, and the whole point of a left wing back like Lewis Potter-Keane is he'll get into those forward positions, and because they've got 3 up top, you know, Porro's going to be, you know, looking at the right winger the left winger as opposed to the left wing back, and that's where Lewis Potter-Keane can get that extra space, and he made use of it on that occasion. But regardless, on that occasion, Porro probably should have been getting closer to him.
It was his man.
It was his man on that occasion, so he'll get criticised for it. And obviously it was a brilliant goal from Mbeumo, which we got punished for it. But I thought by and large his passing out the back again, really solid. I thought he linked up decently with Brennan Johnson as well, playing it down the line on a few occasions, doing well. I thought defensively after that, he kept Lewis Potter-Keane quiet as well. So I think it was a pretty decent display from him.
Next up, Kuti Romero, 7s all round for Kuti. Look, I thought for the most part, it was really good from Romero. Aggressive, sliding challenges. Obviously, there was that pass that played it through the middle of the park to set us up on that 3rd goal to win us the game. But there were a few dodgy moments in there from Romero, and I felt like both centre-backs came under a bit of pressure when Brentford were trying to put it on us, particularly in the early stages of the second half.
Yeah, I think he played well. I think, the way he set us up on the counter-attack was really impressive. I thought the way he dealt with the Brentford front line, by and large, was really good. Obviously, they nearly got caught out on a couple of occasions, and Vicario had to bail us out. But I thought, by and large, they kept the Brentford front line pretty quiet. And I thought Mbeumo, on a couple of occasions, caused us a bit of trouble, but I thought by and large they dealt with it. So I thought his aggressive nature was still top, and I thought it was a really good display. Wasn't any lapses in concentration.
Mickey van der Ven up next. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 6. I don't think it was the best display that we've seen from Van der Ven this season. By his high standards, obviously he's been brilliant in every game so far this season. I thought this one was a bit of a level below. I felt like he was a bit sloppy in possession. He was giving giving it away a couple of times in dangerous areas, well, when he was trying to play out the back. And I felt like he gave Bryan Mbeumo way too much space in the box. He was just a complete free man to volley at home, and that should never be the case in our box. And that was Van de Ven's man, so he's got to be getting closer to him. So that was the bad in there from Van de Ven. In the good, I felt like he did everything that he usually does in terms of showing his space, helping us progress up the pitch, and the good things that he did to a very high standard. I'm not getting away from that, but I just felt like he put us under pressure a couple of times yesterday.
I thought he played really well, Van de Ven. I thought he had a really top display. I know people can say he could have got closer to Mbeumo for the goal, but to be fair, you look at where Mbeumo's volleyed it from. I mean, you don't really expect him to score from there, really. Look how high his foot is when he volleys that home. So that was like just a
But
great...
there shouldn't be a free man in the box like that.
I wouldn't say he's free. I mean, Van de Ven was there. He's got his leg really high. It's just unbelievable. Sometimes you just got to say it's a great finish.
It was a great finish.
It was a brilliant... Like, you don't really expect him to finish that chance. So if you've got to say fair play to Mbeumo, albeit Van de Ven will be disappointed that he got the shot off. I thought by and large he dealt with Brentford really well. I thought he put some really good sliding challenges on that left-hand side as well. Obviously, he got booked for a challenge where I thought he won the ball, so he was really unlucky in my opinion on that occasion. But I thought Mbeumo... Yeah, I thought he dealt with Mbeumo really well, by and large. There was one moment where Mbeumo got in behind, but that was from a transition. Obviously, Vicario had to make a save. But I thought, by and large, Van de Ven had a really, really good display, so I gave him an 8.
Destiny Udogie up next at left back, and I think this is his best display of the season. 8s all round for Destiny, and you saw in the first half against Coventry how and he got that 45 minutes, how it's really standed him in good stead. He's got those minutes in his legs now, and I think you're starting to see Destiny Udogie get back to his best, and I thought it was a brilliant performance. You saw those tactical tweaks from Ange, getting Destiny Udogie more on the outside, and I think it really suited him as well. He was influencing the attack, particularly in the first half. He was winning the ball back countless amount of times, and I don't think much got down his side for the majority of the game. Lasted 90 minutes, and he didn't seem to falter in the game, as he has done quite a lot this season, with him just coming back from injury and not having too much of a pre-season. So great to see Destiny getting back there.
Yeah, he looks really back to his best and back at full fitness here, and I thought he had a top performance on the left-hand side. I think 8 out of 12 duels won, 6 tackles, 4 interceptions. Those are like monstrous numbers, just shows how involved in the game defensively he was. And I thought anything that came down that left-hand side, he was gobbling up, and he was winning it back with ease. And I thought on the ball as well, his ability to just charge past players with his physicality and just bully his way past him is brilliant. And I thought he did really well on that occasion, on so many occasions yesterday, and he lasted 90 minutes without getting tired. So that really shows he's getting back to full match fitness.
Rodrigo Bentancur up next, 7s all round for Rodri. A really good display from him. I thought it was much better than what we saw at Coventry in midweek. And for him to have, 3 starts in the space of a week for Rodrigo Bentancur, which is really good to see with the injury problems that he has had over the past year or couple of years. And what I felt like he did really well, which I haven't seen him do consistently for a while, is move the ball really quickly, where he was getting these dinks from Vicario, and he was getting the ball turning and shifting and moving the ball quickly. And I just felt like that's something I wanted to see more from Bentancur. Just help us progress quickly up the pitch, and that's what I was most impressed about.
Yeah, I thought he had a really good display as well, and I thought off the ball was really helping us intercept Brentford when they're going forward, and he's putting these sliding challenges to win the ball back. And I love it when Bentancur puts in a really good clean sliding challenge, because it's a beautiful thing to see.
Absolutely.
I thought he did start to tire, which is probably why he got taken off when Basuma came on. That was also consequently when Brentford were having a bit more possession and putting us under a bit of pressure. That's probably because Bentancur was tiring a bit at that moment, which is probably was rightly brought off. But I thought while he was on the pitch, he put in a really good display on the ball. He starting to again look like the Bentancur of old, where he's under pressure, but he can wriggle out of tight situations, which is what he was really good at before his injury. So that was really good to see. Yeah, I was really happy with him. I thought it was a really good display, and hopefully the more fitter he gets, the better he gets. The more he's getting back to those levels. So I think it's been a pretty decent week for Bentancur.
Yeah. Dejan Kulusevski, 7s all round for Decky in the midfield, once again keeping up his standards that he's shown all season. In my opinion, our most consistent performer that we've seen this season, and yesterday was no different. Winning the ball back, being a threat, and I think he had his hand in one of the goals. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, but he's just got a different kind of mode about him at the moment, where he's just so aggressive, he's just so creative, and and they can't really seem to deal with him whenever he's on the ball. So it's brilliant to see, or off the ball.
Yeah, another player they struggled to deal with in between the lines, and I thought he was just picking up all sorts of positions which Brentford couldn't really pick him up. He'll just be a bit disappointed that a few times he got into good positions. He was set up by Maddison a couple of times, and he hit it straight at the keeper. And I thought when he was getting in positions to set up chances, he was doing well. When he was doing it to get shots off, he struggled a bit sometimes. Obviously,
3 block shots.
He moved over to the right hand side, didn't he, for a period of the game, where I thought, I don't know, it was a bit of a weird decision. He brought Brennan off and put him on the right, and I don't know how well he did at that game, because it became a bit more us hitting on the counter, and I don't know if that's his kind of game. But when he was in the centre, I thought he was really effective, and Brentford really struggled to deal with him, but didn't really. Wasn't as good as his partner, so I gave him a 7.
James Maddison now man of the match. We give him a 9. Best performance of the season, and arguably best performance in a Spurs shirt as well. The guy was just literally everywhere on the football pitch. He was dropping a bit deeper. He was working in those tight spaces, and they just couldn't deal with him whatsoever. Every time he got the ball, he had 2 or 3 men around him. He seemed to wriggle his way out. He was creative. He was getting shots off. This is the James Maddison that we know and love. When you talk about James Maddison, these are the kind of things that you have in your head. His ability to wriggle out those tight spaces, his ability to get shots off goal, just being a complete danger to the opposition, and they just didn't know how to deal with him. That's the reality, and he got his goal, which was well deserved at the end of it, with a lovely finish, dinked over the keeper. And his link-up play with Sonny on the day was just so great to see.
He was phenomenal. Literally, with pretty much every touch of the ball, he seemed to do something. And not only was he amazing on the ball with his amazing dribbling and wriggling out of the Brentford press, opening up spaces for his teammates, playing through balls to Kulusevski and Son, and opening up the space so many times. But also off the ball, his ability to win back the possession time and time again, put Brentford under pressure. His pressing was phenomenal. It put us in so many good situations as well. He was just absolutely everywhere, and obviously he capped off his performance with a goal late on as well, which was just the cherry on top of what was a masterful display from Maddison. When he's in this kind of form, he's a special player, and he's so hard to stop, and Brentford just couldn't get near him yesterday. So phenomenal all round from Maddison, and hopefully sign of things to come. 7
dribble attempts, which is more than any other player in the Premier League this season, which is unbelievable, and 14 ground duels won, which plays into what you were saying about how good he was off the ball yesterday. So top display from James Maddison. Moving on to Brennan Johnson, who started off on the right wing. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. Again, another one who I think reaped the benefits of Ange's tactical tweaks yesterday, where Porro was more on the outside and Brennan Johnson had the ability to come inside. Obviously got a brilliant goal with a lovely finish to the far post, which you can't get it more in the corner than he did, pretty much straight into the side netting. And we need to see that more from Brennan Johnson, because we were speaking in the match preview and we were saying we don't really remember a goal that Brennan Johnson has scored that's not just a little tap in at the back post. So that's what you want to see, and I think that was due to maybe the tactical tweaks that Ange did make throughout the game. And I did think he was threatening to do that beforehand. He was getting in such dangerous positions. He was something else for Brentford to worry about in the game. And I felt like for the most part this season, he's been, they just haven't, the oppositions just haven't really worried about Brennan Johnson, because he's out really far on the right hand side, and he's just no real threat to the opposition. Where you get him a bit more central, and as well where we played a bit more transitional game, he is so much more of a threat.
Yeah, and I thought Brentford were struggling to deal with him on that side as well. He got into so many good positions. He was getting into all kinds of spaces to get shots off and get into goal scoring positions. Obviously, the goal he took was so clinical, brilliantly, just into the side netting, unstoppable finish, something that he's clearly capable of. He'll just be he'll just be a bit disappointed that he found himself in two similar positions and he failed to hit that far corner on those two occasions when, one of the chances, especially the one that Son laid off for him, was probably a lot easier than the one he actually scored, and he skewed it wide. So we're a bit annoyed with that. Also, I think creatively, I don't remember him being particularly the one to set up any chances himself, but he was the one getting to the goal scoring positions. That was his role, and that was a consequence of the little tweaks that Ange made. So that was really, really good to see. I do wonder whether this was a thing because, Brentford playing with three at the back with a left wing back who's more of a winger, so that gave him more space, or whether this is something we'll see going forward. But I think in this game it really worked a treat, so he played really well.
Sonny up next, 8s all round for Son Heung-min. Was chief creator yesterday, laying on 7 key passes on the day, 2 big chances created and 2 assists for Sonny. I thought he was very, very selfless. In my opinion, there was a couple of moments where instead of making that pass, he could have taken the shot on, and we know how dynamite he is from those positions. Again, another one who reaped the benefits from Ange's tactical tweaks. The areas that Sonny was taking on the pitch is the exact areas that you want Sonny, where, as you can see in the game yesterday, he can either shoot or pass, and both things he's got off the top draw. So top player in Son Heung-min, always responding to those negative critics that come out every single year, and it was a top captain's performance yesterday, and not only in terms of his gameplay, but I saw him a few times just showing his leadership ability on that pitch.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think I do wonder whether he was being so selfless because he really wanted, Solanke and Johnson to be getting on the score sheet because of, Solanke hasn't got his first goal yet and Johnson's been under a bit of criticism, all this kind of stuff. So I think, look, as captain, he's obviously taken up that role. We saw it last season where he's thinking more of the team than just him being goal scorer himself. And I think in this game, I actually thought his decision making by and large was really good. I thought he'll be disappointed when he went for a one-on-one when he rounded the keeper. He didn't get a goal there, but I thought his passing and creative abilities in this game were on full display. I thought his ability in transition was fantastic. I think it really suited him this game because we gave Brentford a bit more of the ball and we just hit them on transition. His ability to run in behind is second to none. And I thought time and time again he was on that last line, getting in behind, finding the space. And those are the spaces he just hasn't been able to find so far this season. You see when he gets into those spaces, he can be so effective, whether that be setting up a chance or getting a shot on goal. And I thought he was phenomenal yesterday. Obviously 2 assists, brilliant assist for Maddison, a nutmeg through ball, the third goal, and he'll be disappointed that he didn't get even more with the amount of chances he laid on a plate for his teammates. So top performance from Sonny yesterday. And
big Dom Solanke, the last of the starting 11, 7s all round for Dom. Finally gets his first goal in a Spurs shirt, which I was delighted about, to set us, straight away as well, getting the leveller after go 1-0 down, which was great. He did have a couple of more chances where he probably should have put it in the back of the net, but I thought his all-round gameplay was spot on yesterday in terms of his pressing, his physicality. He was even coming deep and trying to win the ball back to get us back on possession. So he did tire because he worked tirelessly hard for the team for the first 75 minutes, and he went off, and quite rightly so, because I just felt like he was absolutely knackered. But look, good performance for Dom Solanke, sign of things to come. I just feel like he needs to get better in his finishing, and we'll have a really good striker on our hands.
Yeah, obviously got his first goal, which was a massive moment for him, getting off the mark with a poacher's effort, which is something I think we'll be seeing a lot of this season in the Tottenham show, looking at the positions he's taking up. I think he'll be, first of all, a bit disappointed that on the couple of occasions the ball fell to him, he wasn't able to finish it off and get more than a goal, and also be a bit disappointed that there was some moments where he should have been found really from his teammates, and they just didn't read where he was running or didn't see him or what he weren't able to pick him out. So I think there are definitely, once it starts really clicking, I mean, it clicked in this game, but once I think they start understanding his movement and his runs and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be goals galore for him. I thought his hold-up play was brilliant. He obviously played that through ball to Sonny as well when he was one-on-ones. Could have had himself an assist on the day as well if it wasn't for Sonny's miss on that occasion. So I thought it was a top display all round from Dom Solanke, and I think he's improving game on game. He's learning how to fit into the system, and I think he's a massive asset for us.
Let's move on to the substitutes. Yves Bissouma, who came on for Bentancur with around half an hour to go. 7s all round for Bissouma. It was great to see him back on the pitch after the strong start of the season that he's had. Within about a minute of him coming on, I think he got booked with a crazy challenge. But you know, he didn't let it affect him. He still was able to put in that unbelievable sliding challenge where if he gets that wrong, he's getting sent off. But it was a pinpoint challenge, obviously, that set us on our way for the third goal. And I just felt like he was a real presence in that middle of the park where we kind of needed it, where our midfield players were kind of tiring at that moment. So he added something extra to the midfield, and it was great to see.
Yeah, we needed his energy. We needed his ability to cover space at that moment because Brentford were really starting to get a bit on top of us. So we needed to change the dynamic a bit. I think Bentancur was starting to tire, and I think he came on and did really well. And obviously, as you say, massively involved in that third goal. Was a big moment for him to seal the game. And I thought he was a pretty good cameo from him off the bench. So game of 7.
And last but not least, of the players that we're going to rate is Pape Matar Sarr. We're going to give him a 7 as well. And again, it was at that moment in time where he was coming on the pitch. He came on the pitch where we just needed those extra legs in the midfield, and I think he provided that. In terms of on the ball, I still think he needs to provide more for the team, but those energy levels that he was providing us in the midfield stood us in really good stead and helped us seal off that game.
Yeah, I think he just came on, helped us see off the game, and just stopped Brentford from dominating in key areas, which was really, really crucial. So, again, I think he was really beneficial to the team. Didn't offer too much on the ball, but off the ball, just helped us see out the win.
And last but not least, we're going to go to Ange Postecoglou. 8s all round for Big Ange. And, you know, for everyone coming into this game saying, oh, he's stubborn, he doesn't like to tweak things. Well, all the tweaks that we were talking about that we wanted in this game, he did, with Sonny coming inside, Brennan coming inside, Porro and Destiny Udogie playing as more orthodox fullbacks without inverting too much. I mean, they did invert a little bit, but it was nice to see a bit of a variation and a bit of a mix. So that was really good to see. The clinical edge was back to the team, scoring 3 goals on the day. Pressing was on point as always, and I felt like within the game he made the changes when the players were tiring, like Dom Solanke and Rodrigo Bentancur going off when they probably needed to go off, and he brought the changes on to positively impact the game as well. And also we got to see Bergvall, Moore and Archie Gray come on. Maybe we might have liked to see them get a bit more time, but I felt like the tactical tweaks are the things that got us to win this game.
Yeah, I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he changed things up and gave Brentford a bit more possession, allowed them to kind of build from the back and then hit them in transition. So we had a lot more space for our wingers to kind of take advantage of, and I think that will work to treat. I think Brentford didn't know how to deal with that, and they really struggled to kind of be effective in the game because of how Ange changed up, maybe even surprised Brentford a bit. So really good stuff there from Ange. Obviously getting the confidence of the front players, it seems to be working because they're starting to, you know, be effective in the final third now. Let's hope they can keep that up. So I think he managed the game really well. The only thing is when he made the changes, I think, I don't know, putting Decky on the right when obviously we're winning but we're looking to hit them in transition, at that moment, I don't know if was the right decision. I maybe even would have considered Werner or Mikey more a bit earlier and just use that pace they have. But I think by and large, he managed the game pretty well.
All right, that is our player ratings for the game against Brentford. Let us know what you think of the ratings and put your ratings in the comment section below.